Oops.
Welcome to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast, episode number 116 with Kate Lyman. You can find us at www.liftheavyrunlong.com, on Twitter and Instagram at liftrunlong. Also, feel free to email me directly at the address wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you're not a member of our private Facebook group, you should be because we want you to be there. Search for Lift Heavy Run Long Community and request to join right now. Who's got their phone on? Who gets the demerit? It's not Abby?
No.
Yeah,
Swanson.
It is not.
It's Swanson. The CEO, the IT guy, can't get the thing turned off.
Sorry, dude.
Should I start over?
Nope.
I feel like should we even record this thing or just
I think we
call
should
it
just
not?
go home.
just clap it over again.
All right.
Cancel Christmas.
My name is Wilson Horrell. I'm one of your hosts. I want to remind you that the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast is censored, so if you're listening to this with children in the car, you should be safe. We're on Facebook Live at the moment, so all bets are off, but we have a quality group of people, and I think that all of them are going to watch their mouth. I know that Kate won't have a problem with that. She's good people. Amanda is about 50-50.
Hey.
Vaughn does a really good job, and Swanson, it just kind of all depends on how Amanda behaves. So that's kind of how that works.
True story.
But I think we're going to be good because it's so much less work for me when I don't have to find the bad words and bleep them out.
But you're so much faster at it now because you're more experienced.
Because y'all curse so much that I've gotten to be good at it.
I know, so I don't think we should hold back.
But I am. But you will, please.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Boy, we appreciate the work that you do
Thank you.
because, especially at work, I've been doing this podcast. They had a guest on the other day that would not stop saying, before he said anything. And then in the middle of what he was saying, he would do and so it's like, then you start cutting that out or attempting to cut that out. And it's like,
oh, wow. See, I would make the effort to cut that
it's
out.
like, we don't do it so much. I don't guess anymore. Maybe.
I would be embarrassed to tell you how little work I put into it at this point.
Right. But I remember at the beginning of it, you were like, man, I'm trying to cut these ums out. Would you please stop doing that? But it's tedious.
It is.
You know?
And it can take, you take an hour, and if you're going to cut out an for every second you're listening to, you're spending 6 or 8 seconds on an So, I mean, you're talking about.
But here's what'll happen. I'll work for like an hour on it, and I'll go to cut out an and I cut out too much, and then I don't notice it, and then I notice it 30 minutes later.
Oh, so
and
you
I'm
have to
like,
undo all those changes.
so you got to start all the way over.
Do you really?
Well, I don't know what I'm doing, so yeah.
Oh.
It used to take 35, 40 hours for me to produce the 1 hour podcast to learn how to sync the videos and sync the audio and get all that stuff. And we were just so bad.
You need to
we
put an
sounded
electric
so
shock
bad.
collar on people. Start.
It just takes
Noted.
practice. It's a
Yeah.
hard
It
thing.
just
Not say,
takes.
You know, it's too bad that doing the podcast isn't as easy as using our app.
That's right, because we have an app.
This is so terrible.
You are so good. What a segue. Are we pros or what?
That was
Goodness.
what did they say? Dope.
That was dope. Tell you what else is dope is the said app, the Lift Heavy Run Long
It
app.
is.
And we want you to be on it. For $3.99 a month, you can be on the Lift Heavy Run Long app. And with that, you have access to the greatest trainer in the world, Valerie Hunt, who is an endurance runner and strength trainer. And you will get subscribed to the LHRL Daily, which is 3 bodyweight exercises every week, 4 barbell strength workouts, and 4 WODs. For $9.99 a month, you can have access to all of the programs that Lift Heavy Run Long has to offer. Everything from 5K programs up to 100-mile programs, to Spartan races, to triathlons, sprint triathlons, Ironman triathlons. All those can be subscribed to your app for $9.99 a month. The goal of Lift Heavy Run Long is to bring fitness to as many people as possible, as inexpensively as possible. So if you know someone who doesn't have $3.99 a month for whatever reason, but you think that fitness would benefit them in their life, then please email me at wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com, and they're welcome to use the app free of charge, no questions asked. And another thing that I want you to check out is the Daily Dumbbell. TheDailyDumbbell.com is the most trusted source for fake news in the fitness industry. If you have time to kill, then go over there, and there's some pretty funny articles that are getting funnier each week.
You guys had some gems this week.
I think so. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do an entire podcast on it.
Oh, that's right.
I cannot
That's
wait
coming
for
up.
that.
I can't either.
Is that a few weeks away?
I can't really remember.
I think it's actually next week is Melissa, and then I think after that is Scott.
Scott sent me a text, and he said we need to shamelessly plug dailydumbbell.com. And I sent y'all the request asking if y'all wanted to do it. And I wanted to stay back as far as possible, and just, if you don't want to do it, I totally understand, because it sounds kind of like it would be weird and awkward. But inside, I was like, please, God, do this. Please do this. It'll be fun. It'll be funny. We'll have a good time with it. So when y'all said y'all would do it, I was really excited about it.
Hollis is a funny guy. I mean, even if we never actually get around to the Daily Dumbbell, it'll be a great episode.
That's what I thought. I mean, we can just talk about a couple of the topics and get enough out of that.
Exactly.
I am sitting next to the most attractive woman on the planet, in the universe, in the solar system. The wonderful, the highly educated, Dr. Amanda Kimsey Horrell, also known as Jacked and Tan.
What's up?
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. You're looking good.
I just came from the gym.
Well, you're wearing a hat low, so that helps.
Yes, I am. I'm looking pretty rough.
You want to tell us about the book you've been reading that Brenda Haskell suggested to you?
Better than before?
You liking that?
I love it.
It seems to be doing a lot in your life.
Yes, it's about changing habits and the way you do things throughout the day, and how to fix yourself, or how to, I guess, work on yourself, not really fix yourself, but realize your downfalls and how to improve those and create better habits.
Did someone post so I went back because I kind of missed out on that conversation a little bit. So I went back to go find the book that y'all were talking about. Mm-hmm. And I thought it said The Power of Habit.
That was her next
yellow book.
That was the next recommendation.
Okay,
she said,
that's
if you
the
like
book
this,
that I've read,
read
and that's a fantastic book as well. I've never read the one that you're talking about.
I've read The Power of Habit.
It's good. Yeah.
This Better Than Before is really good. I wish I could remember the author's name off the top of my head, but I didn't bring my phone out here. But it's excellent. I've learned a lot about myself, and in the book, she'll talk about, I'm an obliger, and she'll talk about, and the obliger will do this. And I'm like, whoa, that's spot on. I would do that in this situation. So she shows us how to turn the situation around a little bit and make us a better person. So.
What you shared with me has been interesting, and it does seem to be spot on. I guess it categorizes you into four different people: obliger, rebel, something, and something else. Mm-hmm. And I'm clearly a rebel.
Yes.
You're clearly an obliger, and we're made to be living together,
yes.
And sleeping under the same roof.
Yes.
Which we do, so that's great.
That's great.
That is
Works
good.
out perfectly.
Yep.
And next to Amanda, we have Kate Lyman of Kate Lyman Nutrition.
Hello.
Happy to be here.
We're happy to have you. Thanks for taking the time to come on.
Of course.
So we're going to learn a little bit about nutrition. Not that I don't know everything there is to know about nutrition, clearly, but we're going to get back around to her. We got to talk about Sillamore and some of the upcoming trail races that she's going to be signing up for before she gets off this podcast.
Wow.
All right.
Because she told us earlier that she's been looking for a group of friends to just do dumb stuff with.
Oh, well, you just walked right into that.
I did say that.
And Swanson was like, ding, ding. Look no further.
Let's just tell you. Let's just tell you about our. Let's tell you. We'll just tell you about our next few weeks and see if
I
you.
don't know if I'm at your level yet, but I think I'd like to be.
You've exceeded my level. Don't worry about that. And next to Kate, we have the Reverend, who everybody came to see, Mr. Von Rawls.
All right, I'm here.
How are you?
I'm fantastic.
You are You're doing fantastic.
I am.
I'm telling you what, you're on fire.
I am.
I liked your reference in our chat today where you called him Vaughn 2.0.
It is Vaughn 2.0. The new and improved.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, all over social media, which is so helpful.
Yes.
God, it's so helpful.
And it's fun, too.
And you're really good at it. See, I'm not good at social media.
But yeah, I can do it.
You are. You're good at it. The stuff that you post is intriguing, and it's good. and your writing is really good, and it's fun to read that, and it's a different perspective because I have mine that I put up there, and you have yours, and I think it's a good blend.
No spoilers. I haven't read today's blog post.
It's the best one yet.
You just shared it on a whim.
I always share your stuff.
Brian's known for sharing.
Swanson is super spammer.
Yeah.
If it's from LHRL or the Daily Dumbbell, it's shared. Like, I'm done. Like, it's going back out to the world.
Yeah, I have to get over that because like that my whole problem is that like anything I put I feel like when I go to work I have to explain it to somebody. Like, hey, I saw a thing you put on Facebook. What's a Sillamore or whatever? Like what? What are you talking about? Meditation. Like,
Yeah.
You do that every day? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so I'm a little reserved in that manner.
You and I are at different levels there. I have 0 people whose opinion I care about with what I post on
It's
Facebook.
No. It's not the opinion that I care about. It's the entire conversation that I do not want to have.
The problem is he thinks he's going to have to converse with someone because of it.
Somebody might ask me a question.
That's kind of what I was alluding to, yeah.
Well, you know what I'll do? After the podcast tonight, I'm going to call Jackson and tell him to start giving you homework every day after our podcast. Like, hey, Dad, about that blog post, you're going to have to go talk to somebody tomorrow about this paragraph.
Oh, well, read the blog post and then come back to me because I'm working on that kind of stuff. So
The majority of my self-worth comes from Swanson and him reposting whatever it is that I wrote. Now, I got to tell you, I'm a little bit heartbroken to find out that he doesn't read the things.
Oh, no. I do.
I just thought that everything. Everything that I wrote, he was like, "This is great. I'm going to repost it." Now I find out that's why you do it so quickly. That's why it's like Brian Swanson has shared
99% of the time I have read it before I repost it. A lot of times I'll repost it and then read it immediately. Just had a lot of stuff going on this afternoon, and I wanted to make sure that I got it out there for the rest of the world who might only be following me and not you to see it and be aware of it.
Well, it's helpful. And it's
it
cool.
is very helpful.
I like it. The best-looking cameraman in the business, Super Spammer Swanson.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay.
How was your weekend?
Weekend was very good. Went up to Mountain Home for a festival up there that got completely rained out, except for the concert got moved inside. So they had the concert. The concert's really the only thing I was super excited about. So I was happy for that. My friend Ashley McBride is a up-and-coming country music artist, and she got to headline the show. So it was a good thing.
I saw that.
They even canceled your 5K, right?
It's a virtual 5K now.
Oh, gotcha.
We have until October 6th to run a 5K, submit our times, and a race selfie.
Well, there you go.
Nice. All right.
So instead of running... So last week I posted out on LHRL for accountability that I was starting my Dopey Challenge training. Supposed to run Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, basically every week from now until January.
And now there's 30 people going to run with you every day?
I ran once last week.
The opposite.
Because the 5K was canceled, didn't get up and do anything.
Yeah.
Didn't do my Sunday run because I had too much fun on Saturday. So we're going to restart it this week and see what happens. But,
I ran 2 races in one weekend this weekend for the first time I think ever.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
And road races at that.
Road races at that, for sure.
You're not much of a road racer.
I'm
so
not.
That's doubly impressive for that reason alone.
Yeah.
Swanson, I want you to know that I understand what that's like.
The plan of training, but not
plan
actually
of training
doing it.
and then having it collapse in front of you.
I was actually
I'm past the point of planning.
I was at Emily Reed's house, who has a full setup in her garage, and kept offering, "Hey, you guys want to go do a WOD?" And we're like, "No, we're good."
Would you bring me another beer? Already?
It's the beer fridge is out there, right? Yeah. So while you're out there, grab me one.
Well, and you've also found a way. Are you still Whole 30? Are you still in your Whole 30?
Well, so I gave it up for the
Window.
weekend
Okay.
and got back on it Monday morning. So I'm there right now.
And so how does that pick back up? Do you go Whole 35 with 5 days of crappy?
Yeah, something like that. I haven't really decided. The original intent was that I was going to actually juice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to kind of compensate for the festival food eating this weekend. But I didn't get back in town early enough to go to the juice bar to get my juicing thing set up, and then I've just had a busy week at work.
I was just thinking the nutrition girls over here about the face. Oh, jeez.
No.
I'm sure she has opinions.
We're just saying examples of what not to do, and so when she comes on, she can,
Yeah, well, it won't be the last time she face palms.
yeah, you
between
can
the stuff
tell her
that
your
we-
nutrition and what you did.
Hey,
after
let's talk
your-
about
Hey,
your weekend,
I'm not,
Wilson.
not the food police.
That's good.
Let's talk about Wilson's weekend.
Yeah, I had an interesting weekend. Interesting to say the least.
Go Ruck.
Yep. It was a 14-hour event. When I signed up for this thing, my thought was that we put on a backpack and we walked around a lot. And it was far from that. It was a whole, like a couple special ops dudes were there, like bossing us around and gave us all these missions, all of which we would fail, which caused penalties, which caused work, which caused more pain, which caused more missions, which led to more discomfort, which eventually led to us rolling around in sand and having, probably 100 handfuls of sand.
Do they not understand how much you chafe without the help of sand?
Dude, it was my worst night. Every bit of this was my worst nightmare.
14 hours.
14 hours. And the problem is the getting up and down. I don't mind running. I don't mind waddling, kind of locking myself into that position. But, at one point we were penalized 100 overhead squats with our backpack. This is within the first hour. And I'm thinking 100 overhead squats with a 35-pound
That's pretty
backpack
gnarly.
is enough to go home. Like, you could be like, that was good. That was a great workout. I'm going home. And then you're like, okay, well, I just have another 13 hours and 20 minutes of this.
Was somebody standing there counting it, or could you be like 2, 4,
We
6?
started doing it. Yeah. We started doing it. He said they were crap, that nobody was going all the way down, which there is a lot of bad squatting going on. So he puts us in a circle so everybody can be watched. And so he's saying down and won't release until everybody
Oh, that's even
is
worse.
down.
That's terrible.
Goodness.
And he's doing it in sets of 10. But I can squat, so I'm going full squat. But when I'm done, I'm like, this is the worst thing I've ever done.
So tell me about crab walking.
Oh man! So we go. The
bluff.
The bluff. We live on a big hill.
Yeah.
There's a big hill.
Yeah.
And so he says, we're gonna take your ruck, stick it on your stomach, and crab walk up the hill. And I'm thinking, this is never gonna happen. But here we go.
I don't need an extra ruck on my
Correct.
stomach. I already have a ruck.
But worst
Can I
case,
just-
we're just gonna slide, and it's gonna be bad. We're gonna slide. And he said, no, we're going feet first. You got to turn around and go,
Oh,
and
up
go
the hill?
upward. So
Oh man, that has got to be some work on your shoulders.
it's
and your arms.
impossible. I'm just sitting there in this position, like I don't know what to do. Like, all I'm doing is balancing. If I lift my legs up, if I lift my hands up, I slide backwards, and I just can't do it. And
And
I'm
he's standing there
humiliated.
going, maggot, keep going.
not individually, but he's making it clear. This isn't a bunch of church youth leaders that are eventually going to be like, okay, guys, you did great. Everybody come up
Right,
here.
right.
Like, we're not leaving till
Here's your
everybody
partic-
gets up there.
Here's your participation award.
Yeah. And that's going through your head. Like, how long does this go on? I mean, we've got another 12 hours to do this. I guess we'll just sit here because I can't move.
Okay.
And other people
How
can't.
far up the hill did you get?
I didn't get to, I got negative yardage.
So this is like a Tunnel Hill mile.
Yeah, this is less than that. I'm just sitting there with my arms quivering because if I let my arms go, I slide backwards.
Okay.
But I can't go forward, and I mean I can't even just sit up. I can't let my arms go and sit up because it's too much incline. So eventually, and nobody's moving fast. Even the fittest of the fit can't barely get up there. So somebody takes my ruck, to take the weight off. And
Okay.
even still, I'm not really getting anywhere, but at least I'm, kind of moseying.
It's also raining.
And it's wet, and it's nasty.
That's pretty nasty.
And, eventually people make it up there. And he's saying, if somebody puts their feet downwards, you're thinking, well, it's kind of okay. Like, I can get sideways and make it up there. But that's not the case. He's like, next person I see whose feet go down, we're all starting over. And eventually, a couple guys got up there. Somebody else had to hold their rucks. They maneuvered their way and they pulled me up,
Oh, wow.
bit by bit.
So
and the
it's
whole
like a
thing is
teamwork thing.
teamwork.
Yeah, teamwork.
And so, clearly no one can do this on their own. And then we got to fish. We have to do a thing where we have to go and get rocks. They have to be at least basketball regulation size and from the river and bring them up and spell different things.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Which, that's a lot of work getting
Yeah.
down there. And it's also dark and it's also by the Mississippi River, for God's sakes.
While you're wearing a 40-pound pack that is
While
sure
you're
to
wearing-
drag you to the bottom of the
Well,
river.
no, we
should
did,
you
we did, we
accidentally
did have to
fall
take
in.
our
Oh,
pack
I
out
hope I don't
before
fall
we
in
got
the river.
before we got there and then get
Oh,
back
okay.
out.
Okay, good.
So then we had to fish this 40-foot log.
I saw a picture of that.
Had
That
to
was
have weighed
amazing.
1,000 pounds.
So they pre-planted that, right? Like that was.
I don't know how they got it.
I'm
I don't
sure
know
they
how it. Someone had to have at least pre-found it.
Right.
Now, whether it was planted, I mean, it was waterlogged. It had been, but somebody had to have found. They couldn't have just said, "Oh, look, here's a log."
Fair enough.
And we
Or
had,
they go down there the night before and they're like, let's see what kind of messed up things we can make these
Yeah,
people do
right.
tomorrow. Oh, look at that big log. Let's do that.
right. So then they say, "Okay, we're going to walk this to the FedEx Forum."
Oh,
From Overton Park and moving at maybe a
From
mile
Tomley Park?
from Tomley
Tomley
Park.
Park.
We get to FedEx and we're walking through people, Beale Street.
like, well, you can't leave that thing
I
here.
saw
You can-
this. Whatever this is, I was at the farmer's market at the train station. Like
Oh,
downtown.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We walked by there.
Yeah.
And these people were yelling, and I was like, "Why are they yelling?"
And we're
Yeah.
moving at a mile and a half an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, it just barely. It's complete torture. And then we get there, and they said we're going to take it to Overton Park. You can cut off 4 feet. We're taking it to Overton Park, and it just continues. All this crap just continues to happen. And it was just a lot. It was really hard.
Richard
pretty
McClure
impressive.
says the log was 50 feet long and over 3,000 pounds.
Was it over 3,000 pounds?
That's what he just posted.
This joker was heavy, and with every 4 feet it cut off, it didn't do any good because there's just 4 less
And
feet.
how do you
of
cut
people.
off 4 feet?
With the handsaw?
Oh,
the
like
hand-
as a team thing, like you got to cut 4 feet of this thing off. Wow.
Yeah, it's awful. The whole thing is so bad. And eventually, some guy out there who is obviously the world's smartest Boy Scout, there was a rope, and he weaved this thing for us to carry it, with handles, which
Nice.
helped somewhat, but not
So not having to carry it on the shoulder or
that
whatever.
much. Yeah. And the problem that I was having was that it's a team that the team concept. I'm used to going. I can go, but I go at my pace.
Right.
And here I am, just coincidentally at the
This is
front
very,
of the line.
very much like reminds me of like a basic training type thing where you're only going as fast as the slowest person and
right.
that kind of a thing, and it's so it's good team building. So did you get closer to all your F3 Memphis buddies?
Yeah.
You
I
still
did.
talking to any of them?
Yeah, I
Y'all still
got
friends?
to. I'm not sure. You go into that place, and I would have conversations about Amanda with some guy, and I'd have conversations about the kids with some guy, and I'd have conversations about my addictions and his addictions with some guy, and then when it's all over, it's like you're not real sure
remember
when
who-
those people
yeah.
switch places.
And they probably all didn't even really exist. You weren't even.
We weren't even
They
there.
were just
Weren't
just
even
fake
there.
people that you were just making up.
there wasn't even a Go Ruck challenge.
It lasted 2 hours. The go ruck was 2 hours after the overhead squats. The rest was just me wandering around downtown.
It's
It was-
it's still awesome that you did it though.
It's a great experience. I'd recommend it to anybody. I'll never do one again. I don't say that like in terms of the way that I say I'll never run again. I'll never do a go ruck again because my hips just can't handle it. But as far as a brotherhood, it's something that you need to do if your life is crap and you want to change something about your life, I would highly recommend doing something like that because it could definitely open your eyes to a lot of things and bring you closer to a lot of people.
Well, it was interesting to see how serious you were about I will never do that again.
Yeah. And I still feel that way.
How much of the 50K the week before do you think affected your?
A lot.
Okay.
I mean, my hips were hurting.
So
from
next
jump.
year, when you haven't done a 50K before, we can talk you into doing a Go Ruck fresh and see if it's completely different. Then.
I was spent. That 50K just ruined me for the
I
for the
don't know
week.
how. I don't know how you finished. I mean, I know Beefcake is the guy that's going to finish it if they're going to let him finish it. But I'm telling you, like I did the 25K and then just sat there waiting on you to finish, and I was exhausted just being in the heat and not
Yeah.
actually being the one still moving. So it was a tough day.
It was a long day all the way around. Kate, we'll talk about my nutrition as it pertains to Stanky Creek 50K. How did you get into nutrition? Did the fitness come first and then you went?
The fitness came first, so I
Pull that microphone up to your mouth as close as you can get it.
There we go.
you
Is that better?
Yep, it bends.
There you go.
Perfect.
that
Almost,
That's it.
almost kissing
Yeah.
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it feels like.
Yep.
The fitness came first. I got my CrossFit level 1 when I was 17. So I started coaching when I was about 18. So the fitness came first. I was doing CrossFit. I studied exercise science in college and took a lot of nutrition classes. So there was interest in nutrition and having it come from school and, being immersed in it and working in CrossFit.
And where is college?
I went to Brigham Young University in Utah.
Okay.
Yeah. Good old Utah. So
That's where you met that good-looking joker over
it
there.
is. It is. We met at CrossFit.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, that's how you do it.
I was coaching when he came to his first class.
Really?
Yes.
And
Did you
where
know
were-
that dude's coming home with me?
No, we didn't even.
Because Amanda did the first time she saw me.
No, and if you ask
No.
him, he's like, I didn't even recognize. Like, I didn't even notice you. I'm
Where-
like, okay, ouch. But
He's lying.
where was the gym at? What gym?
it was in Orem. It was CrossFit Utah Valley.
Okay.
In Orem. Yeah, so I kind of worked there all through college, and then I was coaching when he came for his first class, and nothing happened. And then, like a year, he joined the gym, obviously. A year later, he started coaching too, so that's when we kind of became friends. And then, like
Right.
a year later, we started dating, and then a year later, we got married.
Oh, wow. That's
So
it.
that might have been a condensed timeline. It might have been a little longer than that, but it was something like that.
Yeah, but 3 years.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty
So
good.
we were good friends, and we were like workout
You're a
buddies for.
strategic ninja.
We
Nice
were
work.
workout buddies for a long
It
time
was
before.
all according to his plan.
His long game is strong.
It was long. It was very much a long game.
So then you're doing CrossFit while you're in college,
Yes.
and you're getting more and more into nutrition, or did you know that you were going to be in nutrition before CrossFit?
I did not know that I was going to be in nutrition before CrossFit. I went to college with the intention of going to PA school, and nutrition kind of just sprang from different interests. And being involved in CrossFit, I actually, for a lot of my first experiences experimenting with nutrition was really just on my own. So I was like, what can I do to feel the best, look the best while I'm doing this CrossFit thing? I'm like not that great at CrossFit, but I wanted to get better. Did the paleo thing, did the whole 30 thing, kept trying stuff. And it was, like kind of years of going back and forth, trying to figure out what worked for me. And then I started tracking my macros. So you hear people talk about that all the time. And that was a really good experience for me with like building awareness of how big of a role nutrition could actually play in how you feel and how you look. And so I kind of was just doing my own thing for a while, and people ask questions and I answer questions. And I'm like a big nerd. I love school, you guys. I love it. So,
I do too.
So all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I need to learn everything I possibly can. So in school, I tried to take more nutrition classes, but on my own, or just trying to learn as much as I could. And that kind of transitioned into me helping other people with their nutrition, and that transitioned to me being like, hey, I could make money doing this,
Yeah.
and along that road, I built a business and still don't know what I'm doing. I know the nutrition stuff,
No,
the
I
business.
understand.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Does
but
anybody really?
I hope that's how everyone feels.
Yeah.
Well, I don't, because it's not a great feeling, but I think that's how everyone
I've been in
feels.
business for 15 years. I don't have a clue. what I'm
Yeah,
doing.
it's really hard.
I think if you're not suffering from a little bit of imposter syndrome as
Right.
a business owner, then you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
So-
Right. So I feel very confident in nutrition, in my knowledge of nutrition, and I feel much less confident in my knowledge of business and like marketing and all that stuff.
Well, you're probably still paying your bills, so you're doing it at
am.
least partially right.
How long have you been in business?
3 years.
Well, that says a lot.
Yeah.
And that's longer than a lot of people
Which
make
is
it.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been full time. Yeah, I've been full time in business since January of
Okay.
2018.
All right.
What did
Congratulations.
that
That's
look
awesome.
like? Was that a scary deal?
It was so scary. It was so scary. So I was gonna go to PA school, then kind of changed routes my senior
Is
year.
PA physician's assistant?
Physician assistant, sorry, yes. Kind of changed routes at the end of my junior year, beginning of my senior year in college, and decided to pursue a master's degree in public health instead. So I did that. Super awesome. Loved it. Like I said, I really love school. And I did a lot of research in like nutrition education, obesity prevention, things that aligned with my interests. And the nutrition coaching was really a side gig. It was like, CrossFit and nutrition coaching. I really love it. It pays my tuition. It pays the bills, We got married during that time. And then I graduated my master's and applied for a PhD. And that's actually what brought us out to Memphis. So last August, we moved out here and I started my PhD at University of Memphis in social and behavioral science, studying nutrition research. Did it. Kind of hated it. but at the same time I knew I was going to hate it because no one's like, yay, I'm getting my PhD and it's so fun and easy and great, It was really hard, but it was kind of a decision I had to make between like, I can't really do both of these things because my time cannot be split this way. Do I pursue the research and the PhD, or do I do the nutrition? And I took the nutrition route. It was really scary because school's very comfortable.
Oh,
You-
yeah.
You have a
yeah.
routine and you kind of know what you're going to do, and you have like your map.
School
lined.
is comfortable.
It's very comfortable.
I'd rather do
think.
100 go rucks.
I think
gonna
school
say,
is
or
take
comfortable.
I was
one
kinda
semester
thinking the
of
same
school.
thing.
I like structure, and there's so much structure in
Yes.
school, and it's like you're gonna do this, and you know what you're gonna do a year from now
And just the learning.
because you don't have a choice.
yeah, just the learning.
The
It's-
learning and the homework. Like
Yeah.
I like homework.
Yeah, I was telling him like I love nutrition. I want to learn more about it, and I was looking at going back to school to be a nutritionist, but it was going to be like a full-time school thing,
Yeah.
and I can't do that in my job at work. So I was super bummed. I was
See, I like
was
learning.
excited
I
about
like
going back to
learning new
school.
things, but I absolutely abhor the structure of school.
Yeah,
That's a
fair.
great word, yes.
That's
like,
fair.
I just cannot stand because I want to learn at my own pace. I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to listen to everybody else's stupid questions in class,
Yeah.
like
Nope.
all that kind of stuff.
I want to learn what I want to learn when I want to learn it. So as things come up, then I will YouTube those things. And that's how I would like to learn. But I can't learn when somebody says, you got to go home and read this. Amanda, on the other hand, would go to school as a hobby, like just for something to do. Like, Wilson,
how I feel.
we have an extra $300. Do you mind if I take a class that won't result in anything, but I would like to be educated?
Right.
I'm with you on that one. And I still hope I can go back and do a PhD. I would do it in something different. I would change my plan a little bit. And I think having a break in school is good because I went high school to college to grad school around 2 without even taking a summer off. So it is good for me to have a break. But it was still really scary to step out of that comfort when it's something that I enjoy. I know not everyone likes school the way I do, the way we
Wilson
do.
knows what 8 to 10 years of school feels like.
That's very true. Yeah, I went straight from high school to college, to college, to college, to college. It took me 12 years. 12 years of active schooling to get my undergrad. That's a very true story. And I never failed a class. That's just what it took. I came from Mississippi State for 3 years, lost a few credits coming to Memphis, and then just took one class a semester, which was probably more than I should have been taking. But I decided to extend myself. And I just hate
That's a
it.
But
load
you
you
did
can
it.
handle at the time.
I did it, and it has been worth virtually nothing. But I have my degree, and it is comforting. I say it's worth virtually nothing, but it's a lot of peace of mind,
Right.
And I'm very proud of it.
Right.
I'm very.
You
proud
worked
of
hard
it.
for that degree.
Yes, I did. And it's a joke for a lot of people. My brother has his doctorate, and he did that in far less time than it took me to get my undergrad. So you're going to go out on your own. What is that looking like? Do you have a part-time job before you start your own nutrition business? Are you coming straight from school?
I went straight from, so I was in school and nutrition was my side gig. And then I decided not to go back to the PhD program in the winter. So I really only went to one semester. And my game plan was like, okay, let me see if I can do this full time, give myself 3 months. If I can, build up a comfortable income from this that I know that will continue to grow, I won't look for another job. If I can't, I'll probably still do it part-time because I love it. But, I have a master's degree. I have other interests that I can do, that I can pursue, and I will get a job, like a real job.
So you came down. You came down here to Memphis for the PhD.
I did, yes.
And then you were like, "This kind of sucks. I think I'm gonna take a break." And so, do you think you'll stay here? Like, are you? Are you like, it's kind of cool here? Maybe we'll stick around.
We do like it. We came from the West Coast, so I miss the mountains, big time. But we like it here. We just bought a house, so we're kind of stuck here for a little bit.
Okay.
Well,
we just bought a house. That's a big deal.
Plus, they've met us, so they had all these events.
Right.
You have too many events to do.
She just found her running buddies who aren't going to ask her to train, but will take her to do stupid
That's
races.
all I want. That's
Their
really all
weekend
I
calendar
want.
is booked up. Their
That's
social
hilarious.
events
So how does your nutrition business work? Is it online or?
It is. So I work remote with clients. I do one-on-one nutrition coaching. For the majority of people I work with, that is some sort of tracking your macros. Because I started working with CrossFit clients, that is a big portion of my clientele, though as that has expanded, I work with a lot of people who are endurance runners or maybe don't even train for anything specific. But it is working with those individuals to make sure that they're eating the right amounts of the right things for whatever their specific goals are. Because it's nutrition, a lot of times that goal is fat loss. Someone wants to lose weight, lose body fat. But I work with a big portion of people who want to just feel better when they train, or they want to get faster, recover better, gain body weight.
Is that more of a challenge doing the sport specific or goal specific?
I think sport specific is more difficult. For me, I get nervous. A little nervous with those clients, but I also love it. That's by far my favorite people to work with. People who I just finished working with someone who ran a 100-miler. So we worked the 6 weeks up to his race, and a lot of it was experimenting with his carbs during the race and his recovery period after the race. And it requires a lot more energy on my part, but it's so fun. And I really love it, and I want to see.
Because you're getting to learn something new.
And I'm learning, and it's so.
And you get to be a part of finishing a 100-mile race.
Right, like I did
level.
that. Like I'm the reason. Just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Part of it.
But it was really cool to work with people who have specific performance goals.
Was that someone here locally or?
It was.
Who was it?
His name is Chris Weisler.
Okay.
Hi, Chris.
Do we know Chris
And
Weisler?
Vaughn finished his first 100
didn't
miler
ring a
last
bell.
year, and so
He did like
since
the
it's such a
Zion
small group
one.
of people, he
Mount
thinks he knows
Zion?
all.
Yeah, he does.
Do you know all
That
the
was
100
not-
milers here in
No,
Memphis?
the one he just did was in St.
Um,
Louis.
I don't.
No.
But
It's such a small.
as a
group.
side note, if she goes to a CrossFit gym and she's coaching someone that ran a 100-miler, there's a high probability that I might know that person.
A CrossFitter that ran a 100 miler, yes, I would agree you would
But
know that person.
since she is in a CrossFit gym, you work out at a CrossFit gym, right?
I coach at Hit and Run.
There's a
Yeah.
high probability that she could have possibly met this person through that outlet, and so there is a good chance that I might know that person. Yes. Thank you.
Was he giving you grief about thinking that you would know him? I would think that definitely he would know. I mean, how many people are out there running 100 milers? I mean, that's just a ton.
Not a ton, because no.
Especially not
I mean,
CrossFit.
as soon as Vaughn got back, he got taught the secret handshake. He got led to the hideout where they all hang out.
Because
so-
he's ran a hundo.
Because he ran a hundo, and so.
Wait, I might be mistaken. I think he just ran a 50-miler.
Whatever.
But he's done.
no,
100
we're
milers.
too far down the path
Oh,
of
now
the
I don't
story now.
remember.
Now we'll keep,
Sorry,
we'll
Chris.
keep it that. It doesn't matter.
I worked really hard when we were planning.
It's
I
okay.
promise.
What matters is Brian ruins my day. That's the important thing.
And do you know what? I met him at the CrossFit gym.
There,
so he
there
does
you go. That's right.
do both. So there's a good chance you could know him.
What'd you call him? Dream Crusher Swanson?
Dream Crusher, that's right.
You said that I loved what you said earlier, that it was like not even having a job. Like you love what you do. You really love it.
I love it.
Do you love the people? Do you like working with people?
I love working with the people, and I've made. So I work remote, so I do have a large group of people that I work with here in Memphis area. I don't necessarily see them all or know them, and have met them. But then I work with people all over the place, and it's really fun to connect with people who do different things. And
Is it mostly via email or text?
Yep,
and
email.
not much face to face.
Are
Nope.
they tracking stuff via like
MyFitnessPal,
and turning?
yep.
And do you have access to their data? And okay.
Yeah, so I use software. So I actually, since taking this whole thing full time, I've hired coaches who work with me. So they have their own clients under me. So with
now we're
all of
talking.
us now, we got a team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with our team, we work with quite a few people with a lot of different interests, and just
That's
got my
awesome.
first international client.
That's awesome.
There you go.
Well, I think I've worked with people from Canada, but this person is from Sweden, and that seems cooler.
Huh.
That's
That
really
seems
is cool.
cooler. Yeah.
But Canada's international, right?
It is.
Canada
It just doesn't seem as
Sorry,
international.
Annalise.
They're like the 50. They're like the 51st
Don't fire
state.
me.
Yeah. Doesn't seem as cool.
No.
Yeah, it would be. Well, I just wouldn't clarify that. I would just go with international
Okay.
and just leave it at that.
I mean,
Worldwide.
they
Y'all
could
really
literally
split hairs
live
around
like
here.
right across the border or whatever, and it's still international, right? Like
Well,
you had to go meet them at a Starbucks and across the border from Seattle, and it's like, oh, yep, international meeting to discuss nutrition.
Speaking of international, we didn't go over this because when we should have gone over reviews, I had something that I wanted to talk about that was international, and that was something that we received from Max Kenny Herbert, who is international. He's over
He is an
there in-
LHRL ambassador.
He's an LHRL ambassador from the United Kingdom, and he finished his 50K. I'm assuming he finished his 50K this past week. And a friend of his had sent him a message that said, he sent me the screenshot. You inspired me to get back into more running. Your running was so noticeable in your appearance, dude. Looked fit and strong. Not just a dude who can run a marathon, but one who could lift a car off someone's trapped children. And then he sent me that screenshot with the message that said, to inspire and be inspired,
Yeah.
which is lift heavy, run long mission.
That's
statement.
pretty awesome.
So
That's
I thought
awesome.
that was really cool. Okay.
Enough about us.
We are worldwide.
So it feels cool when they're international,
Absolutely.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Feels
the
cool.
point. That's the whole point, for sure.
So what's the name of your company?
It's Kate Lyman Nutrition. It's really boring. I wish I could tell you it's something better than that, but it's not.
But it's also
But-
yours.
Yeah, it's yours.
It's mine, and there's room to grow. I think, just fitness in general is, it moves in cycles and waves, and things are cool, and then they're not, and it's very trend specific. So it gives me some room to grow as.
Yeah, because you can just follow whatever sport is the current cool
Right,
thing right now.
right.
Because whatever sport people are in, at some point they're going to attempt to get better or
Right.
get into a competitive level, and nutrition's going to play a big part of that for them.
Right, and for those, and
Except for maybe like bowlers.
I don't know, maybe they,
Prescribe the right amount of
Recovery, I
beer
don't
to
know.
drink at this.
That's right.
yeah, and I want to be able to work with people who are not just looking for performance nutrition, people who are maybe taking the first step with just improving their health. They don't even have an exercise routine at all, just trying to dial in their nutrition a little more. So it gives me a lot of wiggle room to work with anyone I want, really.
That
Which
was my
are-
next
which is-
question. You will work with anybody.
No, I will not.
Okay.
I will not work with some people. I'm very specific at who I choose to work with, because I do require some dedication on the part of the client.
So you won't
I-
work with me. You've answered that
I
question.
require some work. And, to work with people who aren't necessarily willing to put in their end of the work and not get the results kind of can make me look bad, you know?
Yeah,
Well,
you
I
don't,
was
you don't
gonna
want them
ask
going
you-
out there saying that they're a client of yours and they're having horrible
And it didn't
results.
work,
Yeah,
this didn't work. And you don't know that it's because they didn't do
Right.
their
Well,
part,
that's
right?
that's a good position to be able to be in,
Yeah.
because I feel like a lot of people are like, God, I really don't want to do this, but I got to take this guy because I got to pay my bills.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then the guy goes, because I think people really like to do that, to be honest. Like, I'm going to hire you to be my nutrition coach, and I'm just going to eat donuts and drink beer all day long, and I'm going to blame it on you.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell
Right.
everybody about it, too. Like, the reason I'm fat is because of her.
Yeah.
It has nothing
What
to do
she's
with
doing
me.
doesn't work. Yeah.
But
So I
I'm,
want to.
I'm paying her, and it's not working.
Yeah.
Then she's hiring PIs to follow Beefcake around, like show the video of you stuffing a pizza down your
When
throat.
the proof is in the pudding. I mean, it's not, you don't need to pay that PI. Well, I had a two-part question, and one was, do you find that you're people's counselor? Do they want to be you to be their nutritionist so they can also vent to you and tell you about their problems, much like hairstylists tend to be people's therapists? Do you get much of that?
Absolutely.
Do you
Yes.
like that or dislike that?
I like it, I think, because I like having that level of connection with people. There's so many people who I know what's going on in their lives, whether that's good or bad. And food is not about like, I mean, so few people think about food like, I need to eat this to fuel myself for this. You know, it's such an emotional thing. And some of us have tendencies to, I feel stressed, so I eat. I feel stressed, so I won't eat anything. And so knowing what is going on behind the scenes, behind like just this is what I did for my exercise or whatever, is really helpful in changing habits, really. And that's something with the coaches who now work with me. They've been like, whoa, like you're a therapist. And I'm like, yeah, you gotta like, get used to it.
And as a therapist, you will be a fall guy when somebody's emotionally invested in you. And you hear it a lot. You hear people talking about what their nutritionist is doing for them is not working. And they say that over a bowl of Pancho's cheese dip.
Right.
And, you know, they're like, I'm strict. I do everything that she says. And it's like the last 3 times I've seen you, we've been like out eating somewhere. I don't believe that this is probably fitting. I don't know a whole lot about macros, but if I was to guess, like those quesadillas,
That's like the
probably
4th beer you've had,
are-
man.
right, just in your wine intake. I'm just not really buying this. But you know, that's coming from a person like me who my first instinct is to blame. I mean, I'll turn it around and eventually come to see the light. But there's never been a coach that I don't blame for. I always blame someone. You
But
know,
you're
right
also
off
a
the bat.
rebel, and it's don't tell me what to do.
Right.
So when they're like, don't eat this, don't tell me what to do.
So you'd have to write all of his instructions in reverse.
Yes. Eat
I want
donuts.
you.
So go out and
I
get donuts,
absolutely
yeah.
do
Yes.
not want you to eat broccoli today.
But you can't eat a pound of broccoli. I can.
That's how to
Challenge
do it.
accepted.
That's how to do it.
Maybe I should be an outside consultant. When people buy that's what I'm doing these days. I'm an outside consultant or a nutritionist.
There you go.
Have you ever struggled with nutrition?
Oh, absolutely.
Have you?
All the time.
Yeah.
Even like now, maybe I don't like.
Awesome.
I think that it's important for everyone to realize that like you can't be your leanest or feeling your best all of the time because it takes so much work, right? And it's hard to be a nutrition coach sometimes or a CrossFit coach or something because you want to look the part 100% or like be the best example out there, but you can't be all the time, really. I mean, maybe some people can. I can't because I like food and I like to not track my food all the time. So I definitely don't do that all the time.
That is something that I really want people to realize, like that because I guess we live in this world where what you're looking at every day is everybody looks like that dude all the time.
Right.
You know, and like and especially when they're on Instagram and look at me every
Right.
single day, I look like a model.
Right.
And nobody looks that's not really realistic.
Right.
You know, I mean, I guess it's okay if you can do that, sure, go do it, but it's okay if you don't.
Right.
You know, it's okay if you're just like a regular fit looking dude.
Right.
That, you know, you don't have to have 0% body fat all the time.
You know, it's funny, just something as simple as like intermittent fasting that we've been talking about the last few weeks. Reading that article that I posted today about the ultra runner that was doing intermittent fasting, just seeing him say like, well, I only fast, like, you know, I only do intermittent fasting like 5 days a week. And I'm like, oh, so, okay. So I'm not like an idiot for like taking a break on the weekend and deciding that I'm going to skip it and, you know, do whatever I want to do kind of thing. And it's just, I think along those lines, you know, it's the same type of thing where it's just,
Yeah,
it's
I
good.
mean, I think I've seen it a lot coaching in a CrossFit gym over the years, just like people just expect this. Well, that guy she can do 12 pull-ups in a row. Well, how come I can't do it? I've been here 6 months and she's been here 6 months. There's something wrong with you. Like it's okay. Like just be okay with where you are.
Right.
And just people don't want to be okay with who they are.
Right. And to answer your question, like, yes, I absolutely have those same struggles, but I'm so grateful for them because I don't know how I would coach other people if I couldn't connect on that level. If I wasn't able to say, I know what you're saying. Yeah. If I couldn't say, like, I know what you're feeling. Like, I know what that's like. Here's what we can do about it. Or I know what that's like. Maybe we need to change up your goals a little bit because maybe you think you want this, but like you actually don't. You're not at a place where you really want to do what it takes to get there.
I absolutely think it makes you more legit to have those to suffer through those kinds of things. I was in rehab. I'm an alcoholic, and when I was in rehab, there was a therapist there. Most of the therapists there have some sort of alcoholic addiction background, and it makes them relatable. Right. And there was one lady in particular who didn't have a problem with drugs or alcohol, and I was sharing in one of my groups, and she was listening to how much and everything that I'd been through, and she said, "Why didn't you just stop?"
Oh my gosh.
And I thought, you think I'm paying $50,000 because I just never thought about that? Are you serious? And you just can't talk to I can't talk to somebody who doesn't have a drinking problem. I can't relate to somebody who doesn't understand binge eating. I can't have a nutritionist that can tell me, well, all you have to do is stay in these macros. Well, I realize that all I'd have to do is stay in these macros, but that's not the problem. The problem is I can't stay within gosh damn macros.
Yeah.
I'm just going to need somebody to tell me where my beer fits into those macros.
Yeah.
I think the problem is your macros are not fitting my schedule. And so there's different things that when you hear people say, that, it doesn't have to be keto or it doesn't have to be this or it doesn't have to be that. Well, I think in some situations, maybe it does need to be that according to what the person is,
absolutely.
is doing. I probably stay in ketosis 80% of the time, and I have for about 8 months. And the reason I've gotten benefits from it slowly. My nutrition is not good. I'm not saying that, but at least I'm not binging on pizza every time I come home. So there's certain things I'm willing to sacrifice, probably eating too much fat, my cholesterol is probably not the best in the world, but I'm also not swinging by the truck stop every day on the way home, and I'm not picking up pints of ice cream. So there's some things that have to be kind of adjusted and accounted for based on somebody's history. And I think without you having prior knowledge of that it would just be impossible to empathize with that kind of person.
Yeah. And like something like that, keto is such a hot topic because, it's just controversial, right? Mm-hmm. Because some people are like, this is the way. And it might be for some people, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you can't say like, this will work for all of you because I don't like bacon and I don't really want to eat cheese, and like that doesn't do it for me because I want cookies and those are carbs and I need my carbs,
I was going to ask you if you had your way, do you feel like this works and this does not?
No.
You don't?
No. So if someone's trying to lose body fat, lose weight, they have to be eating fewer calories than they're burning, right? They have to be in a calorie deficit, but how you get there might be drastically different for like person A and person B. Mm-hmm. Person A might like to be in keto because they prefer fat over carbs, and so that might work for them, but this person B might need a whole nother approach, and it's really about calories. And when you're tracking macros, you're just making sure your calories are in check, and you're kind of dialing in on that a little more to make sure you get enough protein for, to maintain muscle mass and carbs to fuel whatever you're doing. And so it's like it's not one size fits all.
Do you have an opinion on the intermittent
fasting?
That's right.
Intermittent fasting.
Do you have an opinion on that? We just all kind of started doing that, I guess, at the same time.
Yeah, I intermittent fast.
Do you?
I'm very flexible about it. So I don't know what you guys have discussed before.
Tell us
but
what
there's
your
like,
eating schedule is like for you personally.
How
does your day go?
I eat my first meal after 10:30 a.m.
After 10:30
After
a.m.
10:30 a.m.
Okay.
I wake up some days at 4:30, some days at 5:30 a.m. So that's kind of a long time for me to wait to eat. And then I try to stop eating before I go to bed, 8 p.m., 8, something like that. Like I said, I'm not too strict about it. What intermittent fasting does, it's not like a magic diet or anything. It just restricts your eating window. So you're eating for a shorter amount of time. And for some people, that'll help weight loss or fat loss or whatever they're going for, because instead of eating breakfast at 6 a.m. and then dinner at 6 p.m. and then a late night snack and then another late night snack or something like that, you just aren't eating for as long of a period during the day. So I think it's really, really helpful for some people when it comes to managing hunger. And I find that that's the case for me, because if I wake up at 4:30 a.m. and I eat by 5:30 a.m., like we've started hunger. Hunger
Right,
has started.
yeah. Yep.
And I'm going to be awake for another, 16 hours. And I should not be eating for 16 more hours, but I'm going to be hungry. So I push off that first meal till about 10:30, a little later if it works out that way. And I use the morning to drink a ton of water. I don't like water. So it's like all I can have at that point. Not all I can have, but, all I choose to have. And so it kind of forces me to drink my water.
So that's part of the kind of ongoing conversation that we've had, just all the different opinions about what's right and what's wrong as far as intermittent fasting. And I'm very kind of loose about it as well. Like, I don't have like a set time that I have to stop eating at night, but when I get up in the morning, I won't eat until noon, and sometimes I'm getting up at 3:30 in the morning. Sometimes I'm getting up at 6 or 6:30. Just depends on the day. But we've talked about Rhonda Patrick's interview with Joe Rogan and her talking about time-based fasting. Is that what it's called?
Not sure.
I feel like I'm
Where
not
she was
quoting.
talking about you have like a 9-hour
don't think
Time
I'm-
restricted eating?
Time
Yeah,
restricted
yeah,
eating.
yeah.
There you go. But one of the things she said specifically in there is like, it's about like starting the hormonal cycle of eating, and anything other than water in your body will start that cycle, including like coffee and stuff like that. And see, coffee's the only way I get through the morning not eating is
And I think,
drinking
like,
coffee. So
There's different methods of intermittent fasting. There's like the 24 hours on, 24 hours off, which
Yeah.
sounds
That's
terrible.
crazy.
There's no way I could ever do
It
that.
sounds horrible. And there's like 36-hour fast that you do once a week, and then there's like a lean gains approach, which is 16 hours of fasting, I believe. I don't know. There's like a specific it's like you follow this.
I'm doing 15 at 9.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like what works for you. And for some people, I don't think it works at all. Not that it doesn't work, but they hate it and then they're miserable. And they could just eat throughout the day and feel totally fine about it. So why torture yourself like that?
Does it all go back to what you're saying about calories in?
It's all calories in,
right?
calories
Like,
out.
so,
Yeah.
so for people like me, like let's take an average month where I spend a month. We have a candy bowl at work where I can just walk by there 10 times a day and grab a handful of candy and eat it. I can order a cheeseburger
Sounds
and french fries
amazing.
for lunch, and I can do that all month long. But if you can come to me and you go, whether it be stop eating at this time or stop eating at this time, or hey, just have your breakfast made on Sunday and your lunch, and this week there's no candy bowl and no ordering.
You'd see
And
such a big
and
difference.
That's not a magic diet.
No.
It's that I'm not stuffing my face
Right.
with
Right.
crap all
Right.
the time. You know, and I think for just average people, sure, that intermittent thing will work because you're going to not be eating as much as you normally are.
And there's the feeling of discipline. I like
Right.
the feeling of like, hey, I did this,
Yeah.
and that makes me feel good. So my pat on the head of doing that is your pat on the head for preparing your breakfast and,
Right.
and bringing it. And like I said last week, I feel like the nutrition is equivalent to the woman whose stomach is 8 months pregnant, and people just think they can walk up and pat it. And you're like, what? Get out of my nutrition. Like, I didn't ask you in my nutrition. You can't have an opinion on this, because I'm doing something that what I'm trying to do, what feels good to me is not wanting to, blow my brains out every day because I can't quit eating this, that, or the other. And when you get to a place where you're not eating that, well, maybe that feels a little bit better than something else did. May not be the best thing in the world, but it's not as bad as it was once before.
Right.
And the intermittent fasting is just another thing that's fun and new, and the shininess will wear off on it eventually, and I'll be back to, I've lost 1,000 pounds in my life. But I've gained 1,100. And so, I've fought it my whole life. So I never really think it's going to work forever. But if it's working for the time being, that's better than, it just saying, well, it's not going to work forever.
And
So
then,
I just won't do it at all.
I'm going to try it. Yeah.
But at the same time, you have people who are 100% compliant and have a goal like that they want to get to, that this science will work, is going to work for that person. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So you and I can jump back and forth between whatever.
Well,
we
we talk about exercise. It's like people that go to the gym. It's like if I'm just a guy that works in an office and I want to go to the gym a few days a week to feel better and feel more in shape, or if I'm trying to get to CrossFit Games, it's two different levels of
exactly.
working out.
Right.
Same thing with the nutrition.
Absolutely.
But either way,
and how
you
strict
need,
you would need to be.
Right.
Either way, you need someone like her to tell you what to do. Is kind of what I was getting at. Like, it works for all of us for different reasons.
Yeah.
And you got to be smart enough to figure out what that reason is, I suppose.
Well, I wish that we could all be smart enough to come up with a way to beat the calorie deficit rule.
Right.
Because that's really the only problem.
It
if we
is.
didn't have to eat less calories than we took in, then all this nutrition stuff would be pretty much irrelevant. And my life would be a lot easier. But I just like calories.
They taste so good.
They do
They
taste
do
good.
taste
And you know what? That's I guess the big issue is that everyone wants like the magic pill, like intermittent fasting.
sure.
This will make you lose weight
Yeah.
because timing, and this supplement will make you lose weight, and this specific diet that restricts calories will make you lose weight,
Right.
and this is the way to do it. But like, sure, any of those will work if you keep your calories in check, and just like the idea of calories in, calories out is so not sexy and so not fun.
Yeah, that's true.
That
yes.
that people are like, no, I don't want to hear about that. Tell me about your magic pill,
Right.
So my goal is to kind of fight all of that nonsense information and help people recognize, like, look, you don't have to do this crazy thing. You could just eat a little less. You could just not take the candy out of the candy bowl at work, and like maybe that is your magic pill, but it just doesn't sound fun.
It really is
It
funny
doesn't
how
sound fun, and
it
like
is
people don't
just
want to do it.
different ways of pulling back the curtain to get to the Wizard of Oz.
Oh,
That It all
absolutely.
boils down
Yeah.
to calories in and calories out.
Yeah.
But I want to believe that maybe it's the fat burning that makes
Mm-hmm.
it happen so quick, or maybe it's the time window that makes it happen so quick, or there's some sort of metabolic function that kicks in that's going to make it happen really
Yeah,
quickly.
and like the metabolic function are such a small deal that it's just like we don't even have to talk about that, Like maybe like the most elite athlete who has their nutrition dialed into like such a T would need to go that far, but
Right.
for
Us.
us normal humans
That's-
or
yeah.
even like moderately elite athletes, like it just doesn't matter, like you do keto and you take out a whole group of food, a whole macronutrient from your diet, like you're cutting calories.
Yeah.
And you do paleo and you take out grains and processed refined sugars and all that stuff, and like you're cutting calories.
Directly
and
or
that's,
indirectly.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And yeah,
It can be controversial.
it doesn't sound very fun.
No, it's not. Eating right is not fun.
No.
And it's interesting to see how I've done all different kinds of really like crash type unhealthy weight loss things. And one, I was juicing for a period of time. I was going to do like a 10-day juice fast. And I wound up doing it for like 50 or something. I even did a half marathon on it one time.
Oh
I
my
was
gosh.
killed.
It was like
and then
that
you went
big
from
around.
you went from juicing to, like, you wouldn't call it vegan, but you were pretty much
it was
straight up
vegan.
vegan. You were
It
pretty
was
much
vegan.
straight up
He
vegan.
He was vegan.
With
Well,
a nickname,
but
with a
he-
nickname like Beefcake. I totally was not fitting the moment.
But if anybody asked you about it, you kind of got defensive about it, like, "No, I'm not vegan. This is what I'm eating today."
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't want to be called
We would
vegan.
I remember that.
I got supremely weak.
We would go across the street to the gas station to get lunch or whatever it was, that little deli over there, which
Yeah.
is like in Byhalia, Mississippi, which is all this meat's processed anyway. And whatever the stuff you're telling her to give you on your little wrap that's not the meat is not, that's not vegan.
It's pseudo-vegan.
Well, it
Anyways.
didn't work. It didn't do anything. But I can't remember the point. Oh, when I was doing the juicing, there was times when I would drive home from work and I would almost literally want to start crying because I was like, there's nothing I can't eat. There's nothing like
So
eating is such a
sad.
part of my
Yeah.
life. Like I
Well,
want to go home
that
and
emotional connection.
sit
yeah.
on the
Yeah,
couch
absolutely.
and eat, and I can't do that. So now what? I'm just this guy with a big head and no muscles and skinny neck that can't eat anything.
And a giant cup of juice.
But I mean, eating is like for me to do things social. It's like, hey, let's
It's
go
so
get dinner.
social.
And
Yeah.
that's like what I kind of look forward to is like date night and stuff. And we don't do that much anymore because we're always messing with our diets and stuff, and it's sad. We still go out and do stuff, and that's great, but we don't do as much as we did because we're trying to watch our diet better.
Do you think our relationship's going to crumble over nutrition?
I want a divorce.
Live on Facebook.
And Amanda could be, if you could just zap chocolate out of her life, then
That'd
would
be great,
That would be her
because that's
biggest
my
problem.
problem.
But
And
she'd
mine,
be so sad.
if you could just zap
Sweets are my problem.
pizza out of my life, then that would be, if you locked me in a room full of chocolate and locked Amanda in a room full of pizza, we could each make it, and I don't know how long we could make it, but quite a while. If you switched rooms, we wouldn't last 30 minutes
Disastrous.
in either one of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And the two of us, if we're both on if the goal is for both of us to be 400 pounds by next Wednesday, then we're on. And thank God one of us is always like nutritionally on
Has
to
goals.
something.
Yeah.
Because that makes the other, like if she's really on point, then, carrying a pizza back to bed's not real sexy.
Yeah.
So one of us is at least always trying to do well, and right now both of us are on, which helps everything. So good to have a partner that cares.
Olive Branch CrossFit's hottest couple.
Yeah.
We're working on it, constantly striving. Guess what?
That's it.
We're out of time.
We are out of time.
Did we have any reviews?
Nope.
We just had the one from the UK. It wasn't really a.
Which wasn't
It was
a
a
review.
text message.
It's a text message.
Let's tell everybody how to find you.
I am on Instagram at KL Nutrition, and my website is katelymannutrition.com. It's very
Lyman
simple.
spelled.
Lyman.
There you go.
She just went to my website and she got a cookbook for free because there's a little pop-up that
Look at
comes
that.
up. And if you put your email in, you get I have a cookbook. It's called Soul Food. It's all Mexican food.
Nice.
Because that is my favorite type of
All
food.
Spell
Right.
your website again. I didn't catch it.
katelymannutrition.com. It's KATELYMAN Nutrition.
All right.
And you
Dude.
know what? Tomorrow the cookbook is gone because there's a new macro-friendly game day guide. So it's all about football food.
Now you're
Which,
talking.
you know what?
Now you are
I
talking.
thought
don't
you
even
said
know-
you were bad at marketing.
I don't even, and this is like, I don't even watch football. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing. But, we live in Memphis now, and it's like a really big deal, and I got to
Yeah.
get with it.
Yep.
You're catching on
Got to
quick,
get with it,
seems.
yeah.
And that's how I can tell that you've only been in Memphis for a couple of years. Is you think Memphis is a football town?
Sure.
Memphis is actually a
Mid-South.
basketball town. No. Memphis is actually a basketball town, but our football team has been doing phenomenally for like the last 3 to 5 years. And the basketball team,
Yep.
which has
Yeah.
been to like national championships before, has been terrible the last 4 or 5 years.
Well, it's
so
good to know.
We've
I
become
can pretend
a,
to know that
uh,
next time someone asks me.
We've become a football town as a result because we're all fair weather fans and only want to follow the team that's actually
There are a
doing
lot of
well,
those
so.
around
That's
here.
fair.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Another good marketing idea would be for you to leave a 5-star review and then at the end say at katelyman.com.
There you go.
I'm on
That's
it.
right. Because
I'm
everyone
on
read
it.
reads
and
those
then we'll say
reviews.
at katelyman.com. And Seth from the Nutrition Hub just completely crapped out on us. He's got
Hey,
Call
and
him
I
out.
went and I got my shake from him the other day after I worked out.
Yep. So we want our money back for the shake, and we want a review. And he obviously knows how to leave a review. If the guy has 2 million followers on YouTube, you would think that he knows how to work a computer well enough to leave us a review. So anybody that's listening that hadn't left us a review, if you haven't left us a review,
Shame
then
on
just
you.
stop listening.
I don't have 2 million followers, but I will leave you a review.
Thank you
I'll
very
do
much.
it on the drive home.
We'll
Yes.
appreciate your review more than we appreciate his
That's
no
right.
review.
For sure.
Thank you.
Definitely. All right. It's been a pleasure. Lift Heavy Run Long, number 116 is in the books.
Yay.
boom.